Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today's video is going to be how to 100% Black Ops 6 zombies. Now, as you can see in my game here, let's go to challenges. I'm hovering over it now, but you can see in the right side of my screen, every single tier is 100%. I have the zombies 100%er calling card as well. So, I'm going to try to show you guys the hardest challenges that I struggled with, how to do them. There are a couple that I'm going to talk about briefly just for a second that were a little difficult, maybe a little tedious even, but I'm not going to showcase any actual video footage on how to do them because it is very self-explanatory. I'm just going to try to give you guys a little bit of advice on how you can do it quicker. So, with that being said, let's get right into it, and we're going to start with the calling cards and the challenges that I'm not going to have video footage of, but I'm going to give you guys some advice, some augments, and some tips. So the first one with that being said is going to be kitted out slow burn. So I have to attempt to find that, which it's right here if my game would ever load. Give me 1 second. There it is. So slow burn is going to be the 50 special zombies with an energy mine while an insta kill is active. Now, unless you're some sort of lucky person and can buy a lottery ticket and win the massive lottery right away, then this one is extremely hard to line up naturally. You have to be in a game either solo, ideally solo, simply because you have to rely on your teammates not killing the zombies, or you have to have all of these things line up, and that just never happens. This calling card takes so long if you're trying to do it naturally. So what I recommend is playing with friends, hopping in Discord servers that people use to play this game, and have people help you out. I used the insta-kill gobblegum, and now with the new addition of the power cake gobblegum, you're able to charge up your field upgrade right away. You can have that on deck whenever you need it, and then you can also have the insta-kill gobblegum for whenever a mangler or any special zombie spawns. Now, I definitely recommend doing this challenge inside of standard, simply because Treyarch nerfed the mangler spawns, so now they are much more infrequent, and it takes high rounds to actually get 3 to 4 of them to spawn at a time. Now, if you're not able to do high rounds, please put it in the comments below and I can play with you guys and attempt to help you do it myself. Or if you just reach out to somebody who's able to get to high rounds, then do that as well. You don't have to get super high. I would say probably 30 and above is when you could have upwards of 4 manglers spawning at a time. That will make the challenge go by very, very quickly. Otherwise, it is extremely tedious and not worth, grinding for or just having to line up naturally. So that's what I did. And also, splitting the gobblegums between you and your teammates just ensures that your gobblegum stash is not the one that is being utilized the most, meaning like you're not going to run out of gobblegums like I did trying to do this solo for you guys. So that's the first calling card. The second one is going to be an expert tactics, and it's going to be gullible. So let's find expert tactics if we can. I believe that is in prestige. Let's see. Yes, it is in prestige. Now, gullible is one of those calling cards that sounds super, super easy, but some people, kind of like myself towards the beginning, can get a little confused on why this doesn't work. So when you throw a monkey, you have to have bare minimum 10 zombies on that monkey at a time. Now, if you're like me, I thought that I could just have 10 zombies on that monkey bomb and then kill all the zombies around it. And I was wondering why my challenge wasn't going up in progress at all. Well, just to note, and maybe I'm just stupid, I don't know. You can let me know in the comments below if you guys thought the same thing. But for future reference, simply let the monkey bomb kill all of the zombies around it. Remember, it has to be 10 or more, but just let the bomb explode. Ideally do this on earlier rounds because the monkey bomb is going to have less of a chance to actually make them into crawlers. But I just wanted you guys to note that simply because I struggled with it slightly, not understanding exactly what needed to be done. The next calling card we're going to talk about is in local guide, and it's called Old Faithful. Old Faithful is another one of those ones that sounds extremely self-explanatory, and in reality it is, but Treyarch being Treyarch, they don't tend to fix anything. They like to patch and fix things that are completely irrelevant to how the game's overall function plays out. But this is one of those ones that I found wasn't giving me any progress. I'm not sure if it's simply because some challenges don't track when you load into a save file, or maybe it's because you join a game of zombies and you're already on round 6. Like that tends to happen to me quite often when I'm playing online. But this is one that I found the best way to do is to use the gobble gum. And that gobble gum, I believe, is hidden power. That just simply upgrades your weapon to legendary, and then you're able to get kills as soon as as soon as you want to. Now, to max this calling card out, you need 500 of those kills. I have found that there were games that I pack-a-punched my starting weapon while legendary after popping this gobble gum, and it did not track towards this challenge. I'm not sure if that's a bug. I'm not sure if I did something wrong. It's hard to believe that I did something wrong because, like I mentioned before, super self-explanatory. But I would just try to suggest running in directed mode, using that gobble gum, so you only have to use one, and then just getting capped out at like round 15, sitting in some camping spot like I have in my Nebula guide. There is a Nebula guide video that I've posted, and I do include a really nice camping spot on Liberty Falls. You can get those 500 kills probably within 30 minutes. So that is another one to keep note of. It's probably just a bug, considering I wasn't able to get 100% until the last patch with double XP because a lot of the calling cards were actually bugged. So the next one after that is going to be Elemental, and it's going to be super massive. Now, this, again, is another one of those calling cards that seems to be bugged. I was still able to do it, but not in the way that you think. So, Supermassive is actually an augment for the ammo mod Shadow Rift. And it seems, again, very self-explanatory, but Treyarch, being Treyarch, didn't fix this either. I would get the Supermassive Rift ammo mod to pop on a group of zombies, and I would kill plenty. I would definitely have more than 5 zombies in a Shadow Rift. But it didn't seem to actually give it, me any progress towards the challenge itself, which was very, very odd. So honestly, I did this for probably about 3 hours one day, and I think I went up a total of 3 overall medals, which really made me angry. So I started getting angry, being myself. And after breaking my desk in half, I started messing around with some augments. And funny enough, it does not work with Supermassive. Unless they have fixed this after you're seeing this video, it does not work with Supermassive. So this is the last calling card in which I'm not going to show any actual video footage, simply because I'm just going to show you the augments that you need to run. So for the Supermassive title, all you're going to do is go back to the starting screen, go to augments, go to equip augments, go to Shadow Rift. And I started using Topple Danger, which is warp one enemy that deals shadow damage to others nearby. Normal enemies are knocked down while specials are stunned. And the next one I used was Targeted. Dropped enemies will fall on other enemies. I have no idea why this one worked, but I got this challenge from, like I mentioned before, 3 all the way to 25, probably within 25 minutes. Obviously, I was on a higher round in standard mode. It seems to work better. More enemies spawn. You can get it done quicker. But that's what worked best for me. Give this a try. If you're able to throw on Supermassive and you guys notice that it's working, maybe Treyarch in the final, or the last patch, I guess, maybe they finally fixed it. So fingers crossed that you guys are able to just do that, and it's an easy challenge, and you can just completely ignore this part of the video. But those are all of the challenges that I am not going to have video footage of. And the other ones, the last couple that I struggle with the most, I'm going to show you guys what I did for them, just so you can get it done that much faster. I'm going to show you here, and then I'm going to do it in the exact same order that I'm showing here in video footage, just so you guys can get an idea. So the first calling card that I'm going to be showing you guys in game is going to be the Elemental, and it's going to be Crispy. And this one's super self-explanatory as well. I don't know why I struggled with this one a little bit, but Crispy is just using the napalm burst. And it seems like getting 10 of them to light on fire at a time was proving to be fairly difficult for me, until I ran some specific augments that really helped me out. So for Crispy calling card, I'm going to show you those augments right now. And I apologize, I know it's a lot of back and forth, but I just want you guys to be able to keep up with what I'm saying. So augments, going to equip, go to ammo mods, and then napalm. So I run Firebomb. Now all Firebomb does is that when they activate the napalm burst ammo mod, if a zombie blows up, it's going to spread the fire to other zombies, and just kind of become this cataclysm of explosions. And that's exactly what you want. You want this train that you're going to be having on these higher rounds to essentially all of the zombies in that train catch on fire or burst into flames, whatever. And the second one that I'm using is extension. Increase the burn duration. Now, again, higher rounds, you're not going to be doing as much damage with the ammo mod. You want to be able to let that fire sit and burn a little bit longer and then explode the zombie, catch others on fire, and hopefully hit that 10 zombie mark, and then you can just blow them up, kill them. So I'm going to show you guys the strategy that I used for this. It is not... There are two different ways you can do it, I would say. I'll show you one and talk about the other in the video, simply because one is a little bit more obtainable right out the gate. You don't have to do a whole lot to get it. But that is how to do I'm going to show you how to do the crispy one. The second one we're going to be talking about, again, is in Elemental, because Elemental seems to be that calling card challenge where everything is tedious and everything is extremely tasking or bugged or something's wrong with it. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is actually going to be Cold Dead Hands. This one seems self-explanatory, but again, it is not as self-explanatory as you may think. So this is just using Cryo Freeze, and for those of you who don't have augments on Cryo Freeze, I highly suggest you do this, simply because there are 2 calling cards in this section that could apply to one. Now, well, actually, Random Elements applies to all of them, but there are some actual ammo mods that are way more difficult to get 5 zombies rapidly. So, and 500 activations can take quite a lot of time. So, Random Elements and Cold Dead Hands kind of go hand in hand. And the strategy that I'm going to show you with Cold Dead Hands also works for Random Elements. It is the way that I got Random Elements done, because I had every other challenge done before Random Elements, and I had a lot to grind for this calling card. And doing the Cold Dead Hand strat seemed to be the way that worked the best. So as soon as we get into a game, I'll show you guys how to do that. But for Cold Dead Hands specifically, I'm going to show you the augments to run for the Frost Blast ammo mod. So let's go over there. I'm going to show you guys really quick. Ammo mods, go to not Frost Blast, Cryo Freeze, can't speak. So the first one is Ice Cloud. Enemies that are killed while frozen may leave a cloud that slows enemies. This is literally the key to this entire strategy, and also for the Random Elements challenge as well. This is the key augment to run. So if you don't have it, I highly suggest you go for other challenges. If you aren't only on elemental challenges right now, level this augment up, get it, and then you can apply this strategy in the future. The second one I'm using is Liquid Nitrogen. Significantly increase your chance for cryo to activate. That is super important as well, because obviously you want to fly through these challenges as quickly as possible, not waste time, and just get it done. There is also one more augment for a perk, and that's going to be Elemental Pop. Let's go down there. You can do whichever bottom one you want, but I prefer Chill Berry. Slightly reduce all ammo mod cooldowns. Again, that's just going to pop your Cryo Freeze that much sooner, which is exactly what we're trying to go for here. The first one, if a weapon has an ammo mod applied, it's only that ammo mod. Obviously, if you're going for one specific ammo mod challenge, you do not want to be popping Dead Wire when you're trying to go for Cryo Freeze. So I would highly recommend this augment here, Citrus Focus. Honestly, if you just want to copy me, that seemed to be the best outfit for this job. There is one more calling card that is pretty questionable in my opinion. I'm going to show you guys the way that I did it. I'm sure there's many different ways to do it. I did mine on Terminus. You could do yours on Liberty Falls, but the Liberty Falls strategy for this specific challenge is a little bit more difficult, harder to time. The one I did, very easy, very self-explanatory. So I'll show you guys that in the video here in a little bit. That calling card is actually the Anywhere But Here calling card, where you have to teleport, and then you have to kill zombies from that teleport blast that Gobblegum actually gives you. Now, a lot of you may say that this is impossible or it's not going to work, you know, especially randomly, it's definitely not going to work. But you can actually do this solo, and I'm going to do my best to showcase it to you guys so you can get that done, get it out of the way, and not have to worry about it. So that challenge, that calling card, is actually in Prestige again. It is under Sweet Tooth, I believe. Let's see. Let me see if I can find it for you guys. Yeah, so it's right here. It's called Close Call. 25 zombies with a concussive blast by anywhere but here. Gobblegum. I'm going to show you guys really quickly on Terminus, whenever it comes to that point, how to do that. Just so it's a little bit easier to get done. There is one more calling card that I actually remembered while recording this video that you guys may want to take note of, and I can explain the strategy for that as well. It's going to be in Trophy Hunter. It's going to be Madness. Let's see. Madness right here. 100 Alchemist medals. Now, I know a lot of people really struggle with this one. I personally hated this one until I figured out the best way to do it. It is really easy if you simply use any weapon with a dead wire ammo mod attached. You can play in directed mode if you want, or if you're a good player, play in standard, get those higher rounds, get all those zombies to spawn. I would not recommend going above 31 simply because you're going for zombie kills here. You don't need manglers to keep spawning and screwing it up. You don't need abominations or amalgams. I would suggest directed mode, cap it at round 15, train the zombies up, and then repeat the cycle. So all you do is you can go into Liberty Falls, or if you want to go into some other mode or game or map or whatever you want, that's totally fine. But the easiest way to do it is using the jet gun on Liberty Falls. If you can't get it out of the box or don't want to use a gobblegum, then you can also build it, and it takes maybe 5 minutes total to build the jet gun, if even that amount of time. But the way to do this is to have that dead wire ammo mod on your weapon, run a train, have the dead wire activate, and then pull out your jet gun and blow up the entire train. That is the way to get this done, the fastest way possible. You can also use shock charges if you pick them up from zombies that have died. You could throw the shock charge down, and then again, use the jet gun, use the ability that has the big blast radius, blow up the zombies, and then they will die. That is the fastest way to get this done. I just know that some people may get confused and actually try to use 2 different ammo mods on 2 different weapons. The chances of that happening frequently enough to get 100 of these medals, super rare. Don't even try to waste your time. Just use that strategy. Doesn't matter how you accomplish it. If you'd rather use, just shock charges, or if you would rather just use the dead wire, doesn't matter how you accomplish it. You can have any sort of augment you want. I would recommend on dead wire though, there is an augment that pretty much stuns the entire radius around you or the zombie that you have affected with it. So I'm going to show you that really quickly. So go into ammo mods, go into dead wire, and it's essentially going to be a lightning strike. It stuns all normal zombies and specials in the area. Really effective. You can do extension if you want, but using the jet gun strategy, you're going to be killing them pretty quickly anyway. So if you don't have either of these, I would do my best to unlock them, or chain lightning. Chain lightning's probably second best. I still wouldn't recommend it. It's just going to take longer. Try to get that lightning strike ammo mod augment. It's going to really speed this process up. So with that being said, I'm going to cut right into the video section where I showcase the couple of calling cards that I mentioned that I'll have video footage of. So with that, let's get right into that. One thing to know, guys, before I jump into a game of Terminus, to show you the Sweet Tooth Close Call calling card for the Anywhere But Here, is try to have a decoy on your class if you can. That is kind of important to how many zombies you're able to kill while doing this strategy. That is probably the only thing I would use, because if you don't pull it off in time, a monkey bomb could kill the zombies. And if you just try to train them, it could get a little difficult or take a lot longer, especially when you're just constantly spinning for gobblegums. So just make sure you try to have a decoy brought into the game with you. One last thing to note is that for that Anywhere But Here gobblegum, you want to go into the directed mode. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but always try to go in directed mode before doing this. If you go into it in standard, it's not going to work. You're going to have to spin for gobblegums quite frequently. So I would highly suggest that you do it this way. All right, guys, once you finally load into the game, all you're going to do is run through the rounds. You want to cap the rounds at round 3 to get the most zombies. Do not turn on the power. Don't do anything. Simply kill all of the zombies in the map. So we're going to get to round 3 very quickly, and then I will cut once on there. All right, guys, I finally got the gobblegum. I did a little bit of experimenting, and when I did this, I did it with a friend, and I believe that having a friend with you is that you're able to manipulate the spawn of where you go just that much more. So I'm going to attempt this after this little split here, and I'm going to try to show you guys the strategy that I used, but I'm not entirely sure you're able to actually do it solo. So I'm going to go through all the zombies here really quickly. All you have to do in the strategy when you have a teammate is they're going to train in this room here, and then they are going to run the zombies right along Peck's window here, because you should teleport right about in front of Peck, anywhere in that area. The way to accomplish that is you run over here to the elevator. You're right here in front of the elevator. You pop the anywhere but here, and as you're popping it, walk into the elevator. Hold forward, and then as you see, I teleported in front of Peck. Now, because you are solo, it can be a little difficult to actually spawn right there every single time. But if you did exactly what I said, stand right about here. As you pop the gobblegum, just walk into the elevator, continue to hold forward, and then you should land right in front of Peck. But like I mentioned, it's not 100% of the time. You may spawn in here sometimes. My buddy did when we tried to do this challenge. So just be aware of that. If you have a friend, it makes it easier because you will go through your decoys. They can train them up, run them right here, and then you could teleport and kill the zombies. It only takes about 2 attempts if you're on round 3. If you want to do it on a higher round in standard and just have them train, that totally works too. It's up to you. But that's how you do this strategy. And like I mentioned, there is one on Liberty Falls where you can jump off the spawn roof, look back at the spawn roof midair as you're popping the gobblegum, and teleport back up there. But the timing on that one is very difficult to pull off. I wanted to showcase the one that was slightly easier to do, and this is how you do it. So I'm going to jump right into Liberty Falls because that is the easiest way to do the rest of these, and I will see you when I get there. All right, guys. One more thing to note prior to getting into the Liberty Falls game is if you're not going to use the jet gun or don't want to build the jet gun, then I highly suggest that you have the Akimbo GS45s on. That speeds things up quite a lot. That is the way that I'm going to do it. So if you want to copy this way, by all means, but make sure you have the Akimbo version of them on. Once you load in, you're just going to want to progress through the rounds until you're able to actually get the ammo mods on your weapons for whichever one that you're actually going to do. And then you are also going to need to build a jet gun if you're doing it that way. I recommend having at least pack 1, and then you could probably start doing it around 9 or 10 as long as you don't kill any of the zombies the way I'm doing it now. So I'm going to just buy a random weapon off the wall because I only have my GS45s. Finally have enough salvage to get one of the ammo mods on my weapon. Now, one thing to note is that you are not going to be putting any ammo mod on your actual GS45s because once Pack-a-Punch, they're pretty much going to be one-shotting the zombies. You know, as long as you keep up with the upgrades on them, you're going to be putting on the secondary weapon that you're going to be using. So for this strategy, it's going to be the Frost Blast one. I'm going to be showing you guys that one first. Then I will show you the one for Crispy. And like I had mentioned before, the Frost Blast actually applies to random elements as well. So the only time you're really going to be using the jet gun and then a random weapon with the dead wire is if you're going for, you know, the Alchemist challenge, specifically the one that I had mentioned before in the video. But with this challenge and the one that I'm showcasing now, the random element and the Frost Blast one, you do not need it. You just need GS45 or the jet gun. The jet gun speeds it up, kills the zombies the same way the GS45 would. I like the GS45 simply because I can determine where I'm shooting it, and it doesn't kill all of the zombies in the radius, so it speeds it up just a little bit more. But if you'd rather use the jet gun or feel safer using the jet gun, then by all means use that instead. Once you finally have the ammo mod on your weapon and you're comfortable with the level of your weapons and the rarity of your weapons, you are more than welcome to start this strategy. Now, the way to do it is to train up some zombies. I would say once you have about 4 to 5 running around, you can start just popping off at random ones that are running up to you. So the way to get this Winter Storm to activate is you have to have a zombie that is affected by the Frost Blast, and then it has to die. So the weapon that you're going to have the Frost Blast ammo mod on, try not to one-shot them to the head. Try to hit them to the body to make sure that you have that ammo mod activated, and then you can go ahead and kill them. So don't immediately aim for the head. So I recommend not using Deadshot to start this challenge off. You can obviously use Deadshot in the later rounds if you're doing it on standard, simply because one bullet to the head is not going to kill a zombie, past round like 25, 26. So I'll try to showcase now how I do this, and then you guys can replicate it. I'm going to run over and grab some PhD because I do not want to kill myself trying to showcase this to you guys. I'm going to be smart about it. So let's try to grab this really quickly. I will probably have a mangler on this round as well. And whenever a mangler spawns, feel free to target that one first. If not, they're going to shoot the train. They're going to make it really difficult on you to get this done. I'll try to showcase the actual strat. So you have a couple zombies piled up, right, in the area. I have 3 right now. There's 4. And now you can start shooting. And just try to get that activation as soon as possible. I have not gotten one yet. There's one right here. Bring the zombies in. And then shoot them once they're frozen. I'm aiming away to the right and to the left of these zombies in order to get another activation. So as you guys saw there, I actually got 3 winter storms out of 1 activation initially. There's another one there. So whenever the zombies run into this and they actually get frozen and you know they're frozen, that's when you're going to shoot your GS-45 at the ground and try to aim away from the middle of the horde so you don't just up and kill the entire horde of zombies or entire round of zombies, because you're actually able to have multiple zombies or multiple counts of 5 count towards this calling card. So like you saw there, I killed one side of the horde, had another activation, so that counts as a new activation of the ammo mod, killed another 5 zombies, and then had another activation. So if you're on a high round, you can see how this challenge could progress very, very quickly. And that is how you're also able to do the random element challenge to get the random activation of an ammo mod and the 5 zombies there as well. So I am now going to try to showcase to you guys the crispy challenge. So while I have the salvage and I have a bunch of zombies, I'm just going to run over in the same take and buy that for you guys. So as long as you're running the same augments that I was, I'm going to try to show you how to train the zombies up in order to get this to work for you. So I have it here. When I did this one, I trained over here because you need to kind of get pretty close to the zombies in order for this to work the best way possible. So I'm going to get all of the zombies for the round just to ensure that I get 10, because we don't need 5 like the Frost Blast. We actually need 10 of them on this one, which is pretty lame in my opinion, but we're going to do it anyway. All of the zombies in the round to horde up in this tiny little area. We have 2 more. So for this in particular, it does not matter what weapon you use. You can have an Unpack-a-Punch unleveled weapon. But as the rounds get higher, if you're in standard mode, you are actually going to need to level up your weapon a little bit, because you do want the zombies to die from the ammo mod activation. So once you hit the higher rounds, so 25 plus, that ammo mod activation is not going to start killing them. And that is what we need for our augment to actually work. They need to die, explode, and then spread the fire to the other zombies. So just keep in mind of that when you're doing this and if you're doing it in standard. So now that we have a good amount of zombies here, if you want to do this, you can aim for the middle of the group to get the activation started, because in theory, it should actually spread to the whole horde that way. It's totally up to you. But if you want to do it just by shooting the first zombie in front of you, I'm going to show you how to train the zombies up to try to get that 10 activation. So shoot the zombie, have it pop, and then run very tight trains around this area so it explodes onto 10 of them. And then just whip out the GS-45s and then kill them. It's really easy once you get the hang of it. If you did it the way that I just did it there, it could be a little sketchy sometimes, especially in those higher rounds, simply because you have to have a really tight-knit train in order for those zombies to stay in the horde and the horde to stay around those zombies that were lit up. The only thing I have noticed and to keep in mind is that if you don't run a tight-knit train, sometimes when you activate the mod on the zombies, they will kind of stumble off in a different direction. So if that happens and you pick up on it, make sure you try to loop your train around the ones that are affected by the ammo mod, because obviously if they explode on the back end of the train, you're only going to affect a handful of zombies and you have to have 10. So honestly, if you want to try to count them, be my guest. As you can see there, I did not. I simply just recognized that a big portion of that train was affected by the ammo mod and that I was able to actually just go ahead and shoot them. I don't have any challenge progress to show you since I am 100%, But like I mentioned, if you do this for about an hour in game, you'll probably be able to recognize how many you're getting per game, and then you can gauge how long it'll take you from that point on. That is all of the challenges that I believe to be the hardest. If you guys found more that are bugged still, or that maybe you have struggled with a little bit more, please feel free to leave them in the comments below. I will 100% help you guys get them done. If I have to come into a game with you, I will do that. If it's simply me, replying to your comment on my post on how you can do it or a better way that you're able to do it, then I will do that as well. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope this helps you get that 100% completion on Black Ops 6 Zombies. And stay tuned for the next video. Bye, guys.